Okay, hi Aries, and welcome to your September 2021 General Tarot Forecast. I can't believe we're in September. It feels so crazy to me how time has been moving this year. I'm really happy to be coming on and doing a reading for you this month, Aries. I love the energy. Actually, all of the readings up to this point, I started with Virgo, so I'm just more than halfway through now that I'm moving on to your sign. Up to this point, it's been kind of tough. Like the readings have been a little bit heavy. It's felt really heavy, but I think that you really represent much lighter energy this month. You're taking on something new. It feels really easy for you to release what you don't need this month. I'm feeling a great beacon of hope come in for your sign this month. And it's not small. It's not hard to define. It's not a reach to see it. I think it's going to be not unseeable. So this beacon of hope, this sort of new light energy that comes in for you is very likely in the month of September to be unavoidable. So if there's ever been any need to still be in a dark situation, to not feel hopeful, to not feel as if you can get yourself out of any difficult experience, that would be the hard point of this month because it is here for you to really shine some light on your circumstance. Okay, you have three major arcana cards coming up in your reading: the Fool, the Hierophant, and the Death card. Interesting combination, suggesting new spiritual growth, suggesting even the release of a previous spiritual system, or maybe you're not liking your previous relationship to faith. Maybe it's feeling outworn and it feels that you are maybe coming closer to a more correct faith structure for you. So developing your own sense of faith based on your solid foundation of protection. I feel that protection is something that is important for you this month. Not to say that you are unprotected, but knowing that you are protected becomes a really important center keystone for your experience this month. Fear of lack of protection, fear of worst case scenarios, sense of impending doom is something that a lot of people are going through right now. And with this sort of interesting movements of Chiron, having a Mars-Chiron opposition coming in September, okay, it suggests that we have to heal. There has to be a very direct method of healing. And it can kind of work regardless of what decision you make, regardless of what path you take at the crossroads, as there is sort of a feeling of crossroads here. It's more of a spiritual crossroads than it is a physical crossroads. Regardless of which way you go with it, you have to admit to yourself your own protection and maybe even develop it in the people around you. So helping other people to feel protected, asking other people how they have facilitated protection in their own lives. Three of Pentacles is really jumping out at me. Nine of Cups, Ace of Cups, emotional understanding between you and the people around you. Having a good team of people, having a good network of people, support network around you. Having positive communication with Page of Swords. Knowing when enough is enough with the Death card and Nine of Cups, Ace of Cups. The only card in this reading that kind of suggests distraction is the Seven of Cups. And it's the only card in this reading to me that feels like it can be a little bit of a, not problem area, but you could kind of lose sight of your place in the story. So you could be having to really nurture other people's dreams, create good results for other people. For those of you elevating in career positions, it feels like maybe there's a lot of demands or there's a lot of different areas that you have to almost be a jack of all trades with. And that can kind of lead you to lose track of your own personal growth. So it's just good to know that coming into the month, that by the end of September, with you seeming very busy, seeming nonetheless spiritually focused, there is a potential this month to get too focused on external circumstances. And I think that this month demands some degree of offsetting of that. So as we go through these external experiences, we got to really look into where we are and take a look at the polarity of our experience as well. So very good channeling coming in for you this month. It's very clear. It's very concise. I'm not losing my words. It's not stuttering. So I feel that you have a very good channel in your own experience, meaning that your experiences are not muddled. They're not confusing. They're not something that are leading to a lot of pause or a lot of difficulty. And communication in your life is something that is becoming smoother, it feels. So all in all, a really, really preferable energetic experience compared to what you've been through so far. I think you're one of the rare signs this month, Aries, that actually is done with a previous difficulty or no longer having to face a spectrum of fear. I feel that you're opening a new gate this month. I feel that you are moving into a new paradigm, into a new territory, and this new territory feels specifically secure. When I say secure, it's like the experience that you go through of working in this position, or the experience that you go through in this transition that you might be in September is not going to be something that has a risk associated or a gamble. It's not going to be like, I just don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm just hoping that things go, but I have no real tangible proof that this is going to go well or go bad, so I'm freaking out with the unknown factor. It's normal to feel that way coming out of August, but I feel that really gets solved through this month. And how that gets solved is by a new, perhaps, relationship to faith, and also not being afraid to have a movement in your life, death, letting go of certain things that, you might feel like they're a problem. You might feel like to actually initiate the process of letting go of whatever it is that is old and outworn in your life. You're like, well, that process scares me. Like, I'm afraid to lose that relationship. I'm afraid to, sell that house. I'm afraid to move into that other industry because there is no guarantee of what that process looks like. This is a big thing right now where people are very hesitant to work with others, and there certainly is, how can I put this lightly? I'm not going to put it lightly. There's certainly a lot of crazy people out and about right now. Like, that's no secret. So I think it leads many people to be kind of hesitant to, do business, to, be in crowds, to do things like that. And that's not an unfounded, feeling. But there's something about your energy that really is indicating emotional healing through your communication style. And that says to me that you're not going to have super negative communication experiences with other people. So if it's a fear of communication, if it's a fear of moving on as well, I don't think that you have anything to fear. Of course, you need to keep things safe in your life. You need to keep things on semi-predictable momentums. Really beware of situations that are evocative of the unknown. Like, truly, like, not just situations where it's like, I'm not positive, but I kind of know how this works, and I'm kind of making this a psychological battleground when it doesn't have to be. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about things which really are, left field or completely uncontextual for you. You might at least have maybe, another third-party person who has mastery in that area to help you out. 3 of Pentacles showing that. Anyway, Aries, let's get into your week to week. Let's see what's coming up for you in September. Week 1, you've got the Fool rooted down by the Hierophant. I just love that. So the end of August feels chaotic, but right when you get into the first week of September, you're totally kind of confident. Spiritual confidence meets a willingness to accept positive new beginnings. That's beautiful. It's a major week. It's one of the most important weeks perhaps in the year for you with those 2 major arcana cards coming up. How can you not be ruled by fear is what that says to me as well. The Hierophant is about spirituality, faith, religion, especially to the extent that we trust the universe to not derail us. Like feelings of impending doom, feelings of fear of failure. That's something that's really prevalent right now. And you're overcoming that in the first week to the degree that you're not afraid because you know that you're covered, or you know that the way the circumstances have moved up throughout the past with your own integrity and with your own input into this situation, you know that there's actually no fear to have. Unless you just want to take on fear for other people, or unless you just want to enjoy the process of being afraid. That's the only way that I feel fear could be a part of your experience starting in the first week of September. So very fearless and very trusting in a higher power, and I really like that for you. Okay, very trusting that your momentum is happening for a reason, that there's no accident here. There's no meaninglessness to the experiences at hand. They are happening for a reason. Week 2, you have Page of Swords rooted down by 3 of Pentacles. Communicating with people professionally becomes a really good source of growth for you. Professional communication, support networks. I'm feeling more so in a career context. I'm feeling that coworkers or staff or even management, like these types of relationships start to really work out for you. I think that a lot of people get anxious about those types of communicative relationships, and you are somehow really getting a fine, logical understanding of how to navigate them, and it really helps the growth of your career, or it really helps your own evolution further. Also, it feels like you don't need to be an island, so don't be afraid to request help from, like, I don't know, HR. Don't be afraid to request help from coworkers. Don't be afraid to put in requests of some kind. That feels important to know too. Like, if you feel overworked, if you feel like you're not quite positive what you're doing, it feels very important to ask for help, okay? And to not just force it through on your own. Week 3, you've got the 9 of Cups rooted down by the Death card. I really like that combination. It says that you're not holding on unnecessarily to dead weight as you move through this gateway here in the 3rd week. There is a bit of a gateway. The 9 of Cups to me is a gate. It is also, for some people, a closed gate, and it has kind of a gate. It's like a gatekeeper vibe. So it's not just an open passage. You kind of come to it, and you need a key, or you almost need a password to move into this area. So to me, the 9 of Cups represents hidden knowledge. It represents things which are not just accessible to anybody. So that can be the sort of difficult part of that card, but there's a positive side to it as well, where it can represent good luck, and it can represent through hard work and through emotional, especially, progress. You can get the key. The Hierophant is also the card of the key. It's the archetype of the key. You see, you have the crossed keys in the artwork of the Hierophant at the bottom. So you're getting maybe the key in the 1st week to get through a gate in the 3rd week, which puts you into the 4th week, 7 of Cups, you're down by Ace of Cups, in a totally new emotional trajectory. This is really interesting to me. I like the sort of puzzle. There's sort of a puzzle vibe here. So for those of you puzzle solvers out there, for those of you who enjoy hidden esoteric knowledge, or who enjoy a little bit of a challenge even, as 99.999% of Aries do like a good challenge, this is going to be a hugely level up month for you, where you, again, Chiron and Mars being on your axis as well this month is very evocative of that. The Hierophant to me is, in the major arcana, the card that sort of represents Chiron, the asteroid Chiron. Death card, 9 of Cups, 7 of Cups. It's all very Chiron experiences. The wounded healer archetype. Through difficulty, I now have a new type of power. Through adversity, I am elevating. And that elevation starts in the 3rd week, but you got to kind of be careful in the 4th week, because there could even be an emotional event. Like, you could be ambitious to a fault in the 4th week. I would really watch out for that. Also, you can just have so much going on that you can lose track of yourself. So you can, like, maybe have, I don't know, I would try to turn the focus back towards yourself a little bit in the 4th week. Instead of just thinking about money, career, status, other people, relationships, all this stuff, external stuff. It seems really important that you do some internal emotional healing. I would actually totally turn away to that external stuff to what degree you can. Obviously, I'm not saying, like, you know, just give up on the external, but it has to almost be like a bare minimum to a degree. You know, still do quality work, still, you know, especially if you're having to do a lot of, I'm feeling a lot of you almost have like presentations to do, or you have proposals, or you have some type of like external situation that's really asking you to step up to the plate. At the same time, it's more of an internal progress that needs to happen there. So basically, if you get too focused on the external in the 4th week of September, and you're not giving yourself time, I'm seeing the 4 of Swords. Okay, I'm seeing psychically the 4 of Swords. So that might be coming up in October as a need to wind down, spa trip, reflection, going to be very, very necessary in October. Understanding what happened in September, understanding the way your life changed, maybe almost to a degree that it's like a climax point in a 10-year cycle. I'm feeling that for you all. And Ace of Cups is here. So there's some kind of, again, emotional significance to this experience where it's like you could be pleasantly surprised by how well things go, or you can be like, wow, I really freaked myself out for nothing. Or you can be like, oh my God, I've really let myself go. I've really actually been quite harsh by trying to take on so much, or trying to be so many different people for so many different people. I've totally been no one for myself. It can go either way. And it's kind of great to be able to see that in the fourth week if it is there, on the condition that if it is there. Because we don't want to get too, oversensitive to it either. Like, we want to just be really clear on what exactly is happening at an emotional level. Also, I wouldn't rely on other people emotionally. Fourth week of September. It's all about you, okay? So any reliance that you have on a spouse or a friend or a coworker or whatever, all these relationships have to be tended to in a very professional way, and making sure that they're not blurring, okay? So not expecting your spouse to be like your boss, not expecting a spouse to be your employee, not expecting also, a boss or a manager to be an emotionally supportive figure in your life. We got to maybe have a very keen understanding now of what is a relationship based on the role of that person in our lives. And are we crossing those lines a little bit and looking for, emotional fulfillment from someone who can never be that, or looking for professional development from someone who can never be that? We got to kind of know. And then also, are we bypassing ourselves in that? Like, can we get this emotional fulfillment inside? Can we get this professional development inside? And there might even be like tears in the fourth week, tears of joy, it could be. There might also be a restoring of energy. Almost what I'm seeing is like a desert experiencing rain for the first time in a long time. So for those of you who've been single for a long time, you could meet a great person. Also, for those of you who have not really had a nice friendship, you could just meet someone who really gets you for the first time in a long time. I mean, that's coming, and that could even stretch out into like October and November before that happens. So I'm not really clear that that's like in the fourth week of September, but your energetic experience is gearing up to manifest those types of things, and on the condition that you're willing to open up to yourself about where you really stand with things. Okay, anyway, Aries, that's a beautiful reading. I think my favorite one so far this month. I'm going to do an extended reading for you on Patreon. Let's look more into some tips through that central theme, supporting themes, and overarching significator cards about, how you can take the steps to make sure you're in tune with yourself. And because that can be confusing sometimes, we can try and it doesn't really feel right sometimes, or it can be confusing. Also, I want to look into, what else do I want to look into? I want to look more into the new beginnings as well. I didn't get to talk too much about the Fool or what that was suggesting. So we're going to look into new beginnings, and we're going to look into, how you can identify and in a special way, sort of know where you stand and understand if you are putting out the wrong energy to the wrong people. So let's do that. I'll link that below, and it'll be linked in the center of the screen here on YouTube. Thank you so much. For those of you who are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, and your comments make my day. Have a great month ahead. Bye.